Chapter 4, Pale Night.
Where to?
You already know we're going to Overby. Skutash! Jerious cast the spell, vanishing from the cavern. Sudden heat was overwhelming. Jerious noticed his robes caught fire. The fire was all around. Fire crashed in every direction. Quickly looking up to ensure he had a clear path, Jerious took flight. One of the two towers exploded. Debris hurled to him. He navigated to avoid it.
What the fuck is going on?
I'm as clueless as you are. If you aren't going to help, then don't distract me, Jerious retorted while dodging additional debris.
My powers are still weak, but I'll do what I can.
An incoming rock bounced away from Jerious. Stop wasting your powers, he screamed.
I just saved us.
Jerious continued to zigzag through the air, attempting to rise above the city. I'll worry about staying uninjured. I need you to find out what has happened. Jason activated the predict gland to view the city. For a single instant, Jason viewed the entire city. The city was engulfed in fire. At the center of the flames was a light source that wasn't flame, but something different. Something with eyes. The eyes looked straight at Jason. For Jason, everything went black.
It's coming.
What's coming?
It's taking everything I have just to keep it out of our head. I can't. A ghostly fire demon of immense power.
Jerious could no longer hear Jason's voice. His mental scream faded. Jerious Kane. A new voice inside of his head emerged. Or should I say, Cretan? Pale Night. I have no idea why you would have any interest in daring Overby. Jerious reached the top of the city. He looked down to see the city in ruins. Even from this height, the ghostly figure of Pale Night was visible. Neither male nor female, Pale Night has always assumed the form of a spectral human-shaped light with no face save the eyes that terrify all who gaze upon them. The fear creeped into his very soul. My queen demanded his death. Where did you go from Demon Lord to Llothe's handmaiden? Pale Night's image either grew or approached Jerious. It was impossible to discern which one. He turned around, attempting to escape the spectral threat. Jason, get back and get it out of our head. That is no use, Father. He can no longer hear you. I know you fear becoming another mind slave like Orcus did to you. Fear not, Father. I will only kill you and devour your soul. The voice grew louder the closer Pale Night became. You will know my infinite mercy. The hair on the back of his neck stood. The invisible aura reached him, causing his skin to whiten. His breathing became slower. Sheer pain gripped Jerious as he clutched his chest, feeling his heart slow down with his breathing. His face twisted at the pain. Turning around, he saw that ghostly hand stretching out to him. Less than a 2-foot gap existed between himself and that terrible hand. Jerious quickly turned away to focus on escaping. The image persisted in his mind. He still saw the spectral white, incorporeal thing, even without looking at it. The red ring lit up at his command to utilize the power. A faint glow surrounded his body. Jerious shimmered, and then nothing happened. What? He blurted out in surprise. You cannot use that in my presence. My will does not permit you to rely on demonic powers. The ghost white thin fingertips of Pale Night brushed across Jerius's back. The red ring's light faded. A trail of red magic drained out of the ring and was drawn into the hand behind him. Jerious stopped flying. His body no longer held warlock power. As he hurled down to the ground, Pale Night continued to follow. The thing drained other aspects of him. Color literally left his skin, trailing out and entering the horrid Pale Night. His skin wrinkled as his hair changed from blonde to white to gray. The youth exited his body, leaving an old husk of a man. As Jerious continued to fall from the sky, he forced his body to turn around to face his attacker. "Rathan!" came his dry, cracked voice, old yet determined. His body glowed a thin purple from the spell. The purple hand grasped Pale Night tight, pulling the spectral demon towards himself. Pale Knight's eyes widened with surprise at Jerious casting a spell, which only became evident to grant him the ability to touch spirits in the same manner that the incorporeal touch each other. Grabbing Pale Night worsened the draining effects, aging Jerious at a faster rate. Pulling the demon closer, Jerious pulled back his free hand to attack. He launched his fist, punching through Pale Night. He heard the cries of pain echoing in his head. The old man smiled as he then threw the damaged demon away from his body. "Drek Salgus!" He cast the spell, avoiding slamming into the ground. His body stopped with a rapid descent. An extreme sensation of weightlessness entered his body. "I am always prepared, Pale Knight. Did you honestly believe that I fully depended on one source of magic? Your soul will be consumed, Father." Pale Knight's voice dimmed, fading away. Struggling to stand, Jerious's bones scraped against each other with every movement. He felt and looked 100 years old. A broken door frame next to him caught his eye. Using that piece of wood as leverage, Jerious managed to stand up. Contortions of pain etched over his body. The act of standing was painful by itself.
"We need to get out of here."
The voice of Jason has returned. Jerious looked at the ruined city of Overby. The magic that held the city invisible and hidden, cracked, burning in the sky. The magic ripped apart into smaller pieces. The process continued until the magic was gone entirely. The city was in shambles. The second tower had already collapsed. The market and town square were covered in sections of the once tall towers. No living person was in sight. "Are you able to find Overby here?"
"I could try."
Jason was quiet for a long moment. Jerious continued to stand, taking in the view of the demolished, ruined wizard paradise, meant to be a refuge for wizards to always have a safe place to escape to.
"He's trapped under the debris of the tower to the right."
Moving at a slow speed caused by Jerious hobbling with the aid of the door frame, walking as a walking stick, they walked to the tower. The city was still in flames.
"How did you get old? I couldn't have been unconscious that long."
Pale Knight's touch drains life, magic, and souls. My red ring is now a useless trinket, thanks to that damn demon.
"Is this body going to be old forever?"
"No, just until I die."
"Did you just make a joke?"
Jerry smiled, but said nothing.
"You became a lich last time you were elderly. Are you intending on doing the same again?"
"It doesn't matter. I was fortunate enough to still have the strength I gained from Ammon. Otherwise, my feeble hands couldn't have hurt one such as Pale Knight."
"Overby is here. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he's directly under us."
Bending down, Jerious took hold of large pieces of debris and hurled them away. Massive pieces of wood, iron, steel, and stone were tossed aside as easily as a person could toss a magazine.
"You know, I remember Ammon. He was quite strong. I believe that without my psychic protections, he would have smashed my body with one swing."
"Obviously. Why would you think otherwise?"
You gained his strength after killing him.
I regained my lost strength. You forgot that mighty strength I wielded originally belonged to Cretan. Ammon was a thief for stealing it. The last piece of hard steel was lifted up, revealing Dagon Overby laying underneath. His robes were tattered and covered in dirt. There were burn marks all over his body. His eyes were open, looking upon Jerious. "You're still alive?" Overby remarked. "Yes, I am. Hell Knight has killed your city. We need your help." Overby coughed out a laugh. "You fool! You had no idea, did you? Here, I thought the great Jerious King knew everything." With fire still raging in the background, not even a block away, Jerious sat down next to Overby. "I never claimed to know everything." "It doesn't matter what you need my help for. My immortality was tied to my city. With my city gone, I die with it." Jerious stared at Overby. He studied the dying wizard. "That's most unfortunate. There is no saving this city. All of the magic here is gone as well. Goodbye, Dagon Overby." Jerious struggled to get back to his feet. A green glow sparked in front of Jerious. The glow shaped into a man. "Dagon, we need never talked much, but it was nice to meet you. Thank you for your help against Orcus," the astral projection of Jason said. Dagon turned his head away from Jason and Jerious. He said nothing as his dying breath left his lips. His eyes relaxed as the muscles ceased to function. "To Earth," Jerious said, vanishing from the ruined city of Overby. Jerious reappeared in his cavern. He lurched to his bed, exhausted. He opened his eyes. Everything was dark. He struggled to stand up, but something kept him in a crouched position. No chains bound his withered hands. "Llothe, isn't this getting a little old?" Lightning struck, briefly illuminating the room. There was no thunder. This place appeared to be a cavern, and Jerious noticed he was inside of a cage. "Not as old as you," Llothe spoke from the darkness. A red glow illuminated not a dozen paces away. The robed, dark-skinned woman held that candle. The light was dim, but revealed the beautiful complexion without turning into her spider form. Llothe approached the cage. Her body seductively moved as if she was being moved. No movement from her frame was seen. She bent low, reaching her hand into the cage, grabbing Jerious by the chin. "You know where you are." "I'm in my old cavern. This is where I became the undead lich. I assume the ritual of agony is about to begin," Jerious said, showing no emotion. Llothe squeezed his chin. The crack of bone was heard. Jerious could not scream with her holding him. Jerious muffled his automatic groans of pain. "You are making this no fun," she raged as her sharp nails dug into his skin, attached to his very bone. With a singular pull, Llothe ripped out his lower jaw. Blood splashed onto the bars and floor of the cage. She laughed as she held it in front of her. He felt the pain. His tongue dangled down, lapping, struggling to touch a part of his mouth that was no longer there. He looked down at his hands, seeing the blood pour out from his wound, dripping down, soaking into them. Through the pain, his finger itched. The sensation was around the tip of his finger. Llothe waved her hand. his fingernail ripped off, flying to her. She held her hand up. The fingernail stopped midair. She waved her hand again. A tearing sensation was felt around his scalp as all of his hair ripped out from the roots, flying at her command. The hair hovered just as the nail did. Llothe held her hand out, grasping at the air as if holding something. She swiftly brought her hand down. His very skin ripped all over his entire body. All of his skin, in a single motion, tore off, ripping from the muscle and off of the bone. The loose skin flopped in the air, and at her command, hovering next to the nail, hair, and jawbone. "No remark? Nothing to say?" Llothe's mockery continued, laughing as she snapped her fingers, illuminating a pentagram on the floor that must have already been there. She waved her hand, directing the 4 parts of him to float to 4 points of that 5-pointed circuit star. "I know what you're thinking," Llothe said, turning back to Jerious, stepping away from the circle. "You're wondering what the 5th part of you will be that I'll use." She snapped her fingers. The bars of the cage immediately bent to her command. Opening the cage, she reached out her hand. Jerious backed away, fearful of that awful, evil hand. The pain was intense, but the fear she induced with her simple approach overpowered that pain. He became paralyzed from either the fear, the pain, or some terrible magic she had over him. Her hand touched his exposed, skinless chest. Her palm gently caressed the spot just over his heart. Fingers plunged in, cutting through him with ease, ripping out his heart, tugging the life-giving muscle out of the connecting arteries and veins. She pulled her hand away. "Oh, don't worry. You won't die here. Not until I will it." She walked back to the circle in that same motionless walk, bending down, gently placing the heart down on the 5th point. She stood upright, allowing her robes to fall off onto the floor. Her slender, perfect body was fully revealed. The ebony goddess allowed Jerious to look upon her. He only gazed at her, even with the pain and fear fully surrounding his every thought. He could not look away. "It is time for some guests to arrive." Llothe let go of the dim candle. It floated in place, clapped her hands together in a single clap. The room erupted in light that completely blinded Jerious momentarily. The light was all too familiar. Before he could adjust, Jerious knew what this was. As his eyes were allowed to see once again, he witnessed the expected form of Pale Night standing next to a now hideously grotesque Llothe in her true spider form. "I know you recognize Pale Night. You had a nice chat earlier today. I also know you recognize them." Llothe indicated behind her, where 5 individuals stood naked, staring at Jerious. Jerious made no sound beyond his groans of pain. He looked at the figures. "Yes, they are the psychics you tortured as part of your ritual of agony. We will soon begin. The pain you feel now is nothing but a pinprick by comparison. I know you recognize Nezron. I like him. I am gracious enough to allow him to execute your killings. To think you actually did this to your own brother. I'm envious of your imagination. Nezron." Llothe snapped her fingers, moving behind the 5, moving her spider legs one at a time. She crept behind them. Nezron stepped forward. In his hand, he clutched a black dagger, the same one Jerious used by the looks of it. He stabbed into the skin while staring Jerious in the eyes. He felt each stab burn into his removed flesh. The stabbings caused him to convulse and fall to the floor. Each stab could not be ignored. Nezron twisted the blade into the flesh where the After the 12th stab, he tore it apart, rendering it into a pile of minced borderline liquid flesh. The black blade did not relent. Nezron did not hesitate or slow down his punctures into the goo before him. All the while he stared into Jerious. Jerious felt his soul burning from the black blade. Nezron left the blade in the flesh, pulling from the ground a candle that lit itself upon being picked up. Nezron lifted the fire out of the candle, allowing it to float above his palm. He moved to the hair. He dropped the flame into the hair, which caught fire right away. The place where pores were across the head of Jerious grew blackened, burned marks. The burning pain was amplified within this dark ritual. Jerious clutched his head with outstretched palms, incapable of ceasing the pain. Nezron moved onto the jawbone. Lifting his boot up, Nezron plunged down, crushing the jawbone repeatedly. He continued to stomp on the jaw of Jerious without relenting. Each stomp was visible, seen on the face of Jerious. His eyes twisted and contorted. The pain was unbearable, and yet still continued to increase every second, which seemed eternal. Through the stomping, Nezron spit onto the fingernail of the adjacent point. The spittle had an acidic effect, melting and bubbling its burn. The place that occupied the nails showed the burn marks. Finally, Nezron turned to the heart at the final point. He removed the dagger from the flesh. He held the blade up to his mouth. Lips parted. Nezron's tongue licked the blade from bottom to top. The blade did not melt, but sizzled from the acidic tongue. Nezron pointed to the flame on the hair, commanding it to ignite the blade. The fire obeyed him, jumping from the hair to the wicked knife. Nezron turned away from Jerious, looking at the heart. He caressed the heart with the knife, gently cutting into the side, giving Jerious a taste of just how much more painful this will be. Nezron stepped around the heart, allowing Jerious to fully see the blade prick his heart softly. Nezron raised his own chin, allowing them to make eye contact. Once again, he held the blade just above his heart, ready to carve into Jerious' final piece. The air between them rippled as water rippled. A burst of psychic energy pulsed from Nezron, hurling to Jerious. Jerious felt Nezron enter his mind through his eyes. Nezron mentally climbed into every nerve ending, like turning a dial. He enhanced Jerious' senses. The pain that already existed increases yet again. Llothe had granted me the pleasure of returning to you this pain however I see fit. I am allowed to use my imagination. This you feel now is my special psychic addition to your ritual of agony. This dream will continue with you periodically, thanks to me now. The words confused Jerious. Pain prevented him from pondering them. Nezron stabbed into the heart with the flaming acidic black blade. The pain was not what was added. Instead, Jerious felt a darkness inside of himself that was never felt. Sadness, depression, and hopelessness entered his soul. The pain was present through this, but Nezron just added a psionic disease over the mind of Jerious. Jerious screamed awake, thrashing in his bed. His tears were that of blood.
Your heart is pounding. You might just die from a heart attack, especially since you're old now. These dreams could actually be the death of you.
We will get to Llothe when the time comes. Until then, you need to find more help.
You might want to be on the defensive. In your dream, Nezron did more to you than increase your pain. He left something.
In my head? How?
I don't know, but it's moving. I believe we have a guest.
End of chapter 4.